Hey everyone, we are live on the Overland Podcast. Thank you for being here. Even if you're not here, thank you for just existing somewhere. And hopefully you'll listen to this sometime, some way, somehow. It is a pretty cool thing that we have tonight. It's just me and Tony, which is really odd because
Yep.
it's been almost, gosh, well, we're going almost 4.5 months since we've done this, just me and you.
I know.
Yeah,
I know. I don't even remember when that was. Was it before Christmas?
before Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, before Christmas. So I got to thinking. Okay, so if we're going to sit down and play catch up on what we haven't talked about up to this point, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot.
There's a lot been going on.
I've done a lot since Christmas.
Hmm.
So, or even at Christmas, we were
Right.
in. I
That's
mean,
right.
mm,
Yeah. It's been a crazy whirlwind.
yeah,
The last
we've
5 months.
had we've had some amazing people that have come on here that we've been
Hmm.
able to talk to. Then we've run the gamut from, you know, one thing to another, motorcycles, overland vehicles, backpacking deals, just a little bit of here and there, a little bit of everybody. But I've really been missing just sitting down and talking to you.
I know it. I know it. I mean, so the problem is we've been so busy doing all these other things that we haven't even been able to go camping.
No, I've been camping. Mm, well, in my vehicle, not much.
No.
Um, in my backpacking rig, I've done that. I've done that several times, but uh, it's been so busy. Like when the weather's been good, I haven't been able to get away. And
Dude, the last time I camped was with Cajun Kai on the dry lake bed of the Ozarks, the
hmm,
Lake of the Ozarks.
that was back when it hadn't rained in like 7 years.
Uh huh. I
Yeah.
don't know how they managed to dry that lake up. There was a little, you know, strip of water over along the bank on the
Hmm.
far side, but I
Yeah.
mean,
Well, I
that's
mean,
weird. It's like walking on a moon.
2 or 3 times ago, when we went camping up in Woolham, I could stand with
Hmm.
one foot on one side of the buffalo and one foot on the other. I mean, that was crazy. I've
Yeah,
never seen nothing like it. But
yeah.
anyway,
I hope we don't have that this year. We
man,
started off with some good rainfall, but I don't know if we've reached.
I don't know if
The
we've
point.
got all we need. I
No.
don't think we've got all we need. We have got a lot, and I was thinking about, what has went on this spring. What have we had to deal with this spring? And I thought lot of rain, a lot of tornadoes in Arkansas.
Rain,
Oh
tornadoes,
my
hail,
goodness,
snow, sleet,
lot of snow. We've had just
wind.
a lot of mess.
Wind. Wind has
Wind, the
been
wind's
nasty.
been blowing like I feel like I'm living in Jonesboro sometimes. It's just stupid. I
Or
hated
Oklahoma
living
or
there.
Kansas.
Yeah. Well, when you live in Jonesboro, like up in the Northeast where all the 870 people are, you want the wind to blow. It's the only way to keep the mosquitoes away from you. But where I
Yeah.
live, it's not that bad. Now,
Yep.
I can tell you right now, if you go out into the woods right now in Arkansas, you're going to be smoked by mosquitoes and you're going to be covered in ticks. I have not seen so many ticks in all my life. When me and Luke
Really?
went out 3 weeks ago and it was cold and rainy, I was we were sitting there around the fire, first time ever that I've ever like sat in a chair and watched them crawl up on my feet. And I had this little rock. I had two little rocks, and I made a tick killing rock. And I was like, "Oh, you're going on the tick killer," and I just smash them one right after another. Here in a minute, here come another one. And I came home. My wife was gone. I gave myself a good looking over,
Yeah.
and then she came home, found one right in the middle of my back. Back there where you can't see.
Yeah.
Um,
And even kind of hard to reach.
Real hard to reach.
Yep.
And she's like, "You got a tick back here." I was like, "What?" And we came home from my mother-in-law's, and I got one out of her yard. Got one. I mean, I got home, washed, bathed, got up the next day, and I was like, "Something's itching." I looked down there, had a tick between my legs.
Buddy, you're gonna
It's
have to.
rough.
You better be careful. You're gonna catch that alpha
I
gal, and then you'll
know.
be on no red meat. You'll have to eat
I
chicken
know.
and fish.
I just,
I mean, ain't
I'm
nothing
a,
wrong with chicken and fish. But
I don't
hey.
eat chicken and fish all day, but dad gone. Give me a steak now.
Yeah.
It's just
There you
ridiculous
go.
around here.
Whatever with wheels, Cajun Kai, and the Adventure Crusader.
All in the house. I have got myself some coffee. I want to thank our coffee sponsor, Blue Sail.
Yeah.
local right here in Conway. They've got a thing coming up where um, it's kind of like they show you where they get the beans and stuff like that on my birthday. I may be able to go to that a week from Saturday, so that's gonna be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, got to show you another one of our good friends and sponsors, Luke from Ultralight Sex. Look what he made my wife. So
Bro.
we were talking, and she carries that little. Who makes it? Who's that company we always wear?
Cotopaxi.
Cotopaxi.
Yeah.
Yeah, she carries that Cotopaxi bag. Well, he made her a multicolored ultralight fanny pack, and
That
then he
way
made us
that probably weighs the same as about 4 stamps, doesn't it?
right.
Yeah.
And then he
I mean,
made us,
it's
and then
crazy.
he made
Oh
us
my
some
gosh.
duffel bags. I was like,
Bro.
okay, I need something. Just throw the clothes in for the weekend. Throw them in the FJ. Don't have to worry about getting, it don't take up a lot of room. You can smash it. You can cram it. He's like, I got the perfect thing. So this is like some new material that he got in, and he always talks about, oh, that's an MXT 4000 WZ, material, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking
Yeah.
about.
Well, what that means is it don't weigh a popcorn fart.
It don't weigh nothing. It's
Yeah.
waterproof. He's got it all taped, handmade, right?
Bro.
Just in North Arkansas. Made my
Dude.
wife one. This is kind of a light green type of deal, so we got
Yeah.
matching bags.
Yeah.
So we got those in yesterday. I posted a reel about it today,
Right on.
and
That's
my
really
wife
good.
is so excited. My wife, hey babe. So that was pretty cool. I was really excited to get those in. I got that stuff for her for Teacher Appreciation Week, which was last week. And so I just want to say to all the teachers who are out there that listen, you got a tough job.
Yeah.
Dealing with children nowadays is sometimes a taxing. You just come home and just want to not talk to anybody and
Yep.
just take a nap, sleep for like a year.
Yep.
And so anyway, that's pretty good.
Teachers and police officers are so underappreciated.
I agree. Well, and also to everybody out there, and we've got some friends on here who are in law enforcement, and this week is Police Week. It is the week where
Mhm.
we tell everybody thank you for what you do, for everybody who serves out there and gives of your time and takes away from the time of your family. Thank you for what you do. We support you. Overland Podcast, 100% behind the blue. Now, come on,
That's right.
here we go. Uh, yeah, there we go. Teachers and cops. Teachers and cops.
Teachers and cops.
Teachers and cops.
Kind of reminds me of that movie Step Brothers.
Yeah. Why does that remind you of that? Because I don't. I've seen the movie, but I don't have it memorized. So
Well, just teachers and cops. Teachers and cops.
did they say that?
Well, they say something like that. It's probably not. Probably
Okay.
shouldn't say it live.
Probably
It's
not.
like
It's
bros and
PG show.
bros and
Hose. Yeah.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. But
yes, sir.
we got a lot to catch up on, so we probably need to hit the ground running and talk about it now. Over Christmas, were you able to do anything, go anywhere over Christmas, or was it pretty much just family time for you?
No, it was just family time. I think I don't
Yeah.
remember. No, I was going to try to go with you down to Big Bend,
Oh yeah.
and Jesse and all of the crew from.
We saw them down there.
Yep,
Yeah.
they were going to
From Feral
go.
Chick.
Something happened. I don't know.
Yeah, it was so
Probably
cool.
got a paper cut or something and couldn't go, or I don't know.
We took the Subaru, stayed in the rooftop tent every night, and this was a good test for us
Yeah.
with the Subaru and the tent because we had to put it up, take it down, put it up, take it down, put it up, take it down, and it was not an ordeal for us. And we absolutely loved it. Didn't pull the trailer like we did the year before and got like -4 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Cajun says boats and rakes.
Boats and rakes. Boats and rakes.
I don't know what that means. It must be Cajun for something.
It's Cajun something. You was sick and missed the guys trip. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was. Oh, that was that was February. Anyway, yeah.
But anyway, it was good for us to be able to try it out, get to camp, put it up, take it down. We did backpacking, which I highly recommend. If you walk at all and you like to sleep outdoors, the East Rim and the South Rim and the Chisos Basin, outrageous, beautiful. The weather down there is so beautiful. And so, anyway, go and check out my pictures and reels from that. I had quite a few because I just couldn't quit taking pictures. One of the highlights, one of the highlights, just got on the east rim. I had my head down. We were climbing. I had my, digging my poles in, trying to climb, and I heard something or saw something out the top of my hat brim. And I look up, and no lie, within 10 feet was a doe deer looking right at me, standing right in the middle of the trail.
So you always in each other's headlights, just
She looked at me like, "You're in my way, dude."
bro.
And I just stood there for a minute. She stood there for a minute. I turned around. I walked back about 15 feet, found a little tree, a little bit off, because I mean, we're talking like cliff on this side, and trails right in the middle. So no
Mm,
tree to go. And so I walk back, I lean up against this tree, and she follows me. When I turn around and I walk back, she's following me. I get off over the tree within 3 feet of me. She walks past, another doe walks past, another doe walks past, and then an 8 point buck looks right at me, and he goes up the hill a little bit. He's probably within 10, 15 feet of me, turns and looks at me, big old wide rat, goes like this. And then he just walks on by. And I holler at my wife, who was about 40 feet behind me. I was like, just be real still. They won't mess with you, but they're going to get really close. So that was freaking cool.
that's cool.
Um, then it was, I think it was on the second day. Yeah, we were trying to get to our second campsite. So we had walked along the east rim, walked along the south rim, and then we were getting down in the canyon again. And my wife says, "I gotta go to the bathroom. Gotta go to the bathroom." So she
Oh,
dropped her pack, and I sat there and I did some selfies, took some pictures. Here in about 5 minutes, she comes back. She said, "You're not gonna believe this." I She said, "I go back about 50 feet, go up this trail, found this tree." She said, "I pull my pants down to go potty, and a 10 point buck stands up within 10 feet of her, right beside her." And she said, "I didn't know the protocol here. Was I supposed to leave? Was he supposed to leave? Was I in his space? Well, what was going on here?"
mm-hmm.
So she said, "I just stood there for a minute. And he just walked on off." She said, "I did my business, came back." So we had some pretty up close and personal
Close encounters of
close
the doe
encounters
kind,
with the deer.
the deer
It was
kind.
so
Yeah,
cool. It was so cool. So cool.
man, that's one thing I love about that area is if you live in cold weather and say you can travel after Christmas, you're not the holidays aren't spent all with family or whatever, and you want to get out and go to a place that's got some warm weather.
Mm-hmm.
That is amazing weather down there the week
Primo,
after Christmas. It's just yeah,
primo.
yep,
It is so nice from you know the end of November up to the end of February. It's primo, and every now and then they get some pretty big snows down there. But
yeah,
you're talking about 50s during the day, 35, 40 at night. It is not a cloud in the sky most days. It's absolutely beautiful.
yeah. And
Uh,
the only time it's better than that is around mid July to you know August somewhere in there. That's the only time it's
yeah, you
actually
don't want to
better.
go down there. The soles of your shoes will melt while you're down there. You want to hear my summer plans?
Yeah, I want to hear him too.
So last year our summer plans were almost the same as his. He
Yeah,
went up in the Northeast about 2 weeks before we did, so we
yeah,
followed almost the same route that he did. And so summer plans. Um, our last day of school is a week from Friday, the 23rd. I have a week of training. As soon as I get out that next week, which is the 29th, so we're going to leave that Friday. My wife's probably going to have to go up next in 2 weeks and take PJ to Michigan, drop Michigan off with her sister because she doesn't travel well. We think we've got her some pretty good medicine now, so she's done pretty good with it. But she's going to go up there, drop PJ off, and come back. And then that Friday night, we're taking off and headed to Oregon. So we're headed straight to Oregon. We have 7 days to get. We're going to meet a friend of mine out in Bend, and we've got 7 days to get there. And that's going to be a lot of driving to get there because it is a long stinking ways from here to Oregon. We're taking the Subaru. We're taking the bicycles. We're probably going to sleep in the rooftop tent on the way, and
Yeah.
and we're going to Bend. We're going to be with Glenn and his wife probably I think 4 days, and then we're going to go back down. My wife's going to have to remind me of where we're going. It's some place that she wanted to take me. That's in the southern part of Oregon. I don't remember where it is. We're going to stay
Overland
there.
Expo.
No.
No,
I've had a
not
couple
it.
people ask me if I'm going to that. We looked into that, and it was for the 3 days. It was going to cost us to camp and everything with tickets to get in about $850.
Yeah,
I don't need anything. There's some people there I'd like to meet and
sure.
see. They'd probably be there, but I don't need them that bad.
Mm,
But anyway, we're going to
getting out
Southern
of hand.
Oregon, and then we're going to take the Oregon coast up, and we're going to go up into Washington. And we've got about another week that we're going to travel the Oregon coast, and then we have booked a Alaskan cruise that goes out of Seattle. We're going
Yeah,
to be on that cruise for 7 days. Here she told me
Crater
Crater
Lake.
Lake,
Yeah,
Crater Lake National Park, and Silver Falls State Park. So that when we leave leave Bend, we're going to go down to Crater Lake National Park, Silver Falls State Park, be down there for a few days, and then we're going to go up the Oregon coast, which I have always wanted to go up the Oregon coast. It's one of the most beautiful, scenic places that we can go. And we're going to go on the Alaskan cruise. It's a 7 day cruise. Got a great deal on it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be going. We get back from that, and then we've got, I think, about 2 weeks. I hope we've got 2 weeks to get to Michigan. So we're going to go straight across the top. We're going to go across Montana, Idaho, North Dakota, Minnesota, into the UP, and then we've got a ferry that's going to take us up to Isle Royale, which is the least traveled national park in the United States. It's an island in the center of Lake Superior. You can only get there by ferry or by plane, and apparently ferry's a lot cheaper.
yeah,
So there's no place to stay, no cars. There's wolves and moose all over this place, foxes, things like that. But they have specified campsites, so everything that you need, you have to take with you. So we'll park the car at the ferry place, and then we'll take the ferry over, and we'll live out of our backpacks and tents for 4 days, and then take the ferry back.
on purpose.
Yeah,
You're going to do this on purpose. Live amongst the wolves and the moose.
yeah,
You realize moose kill more people than like
yeah,
spiders and stuff, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Except in Australia.
Yeah, except
Yeah, because they don't have them there. But that's going to be super amazing.
I know
Going
that's
across the
amazing.
top of the United States at the end of June.
Backpacking, baby. Yeah.
At the end of June, middle to the end of June, and we'll get to go through all that great scenery. We probably won't go to. We may get to go to Glacier for a day or two. I'm not really sure if how close we'll get to it, but going across Idaho, oh my gosh, I'm so pumped about that. And then when we get to North Dakota, my wife will have all 50 states that she has been to. That's the main reason that we're
Yeah,
going to North Dakota.
of course.
Apparently, North Dakota is for a lot of people the last state that they go to because there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And so, anyway,
So have you ever been to Banff?
no, I've never been to Banff.
You won't be that far from it.
Where is that?
It's right across the Canadian border.
Oh, up in Washington?
No, it's above Montana, I think.
Oh, well, we got our passports and we're
Yeah,
not
I was
afraid
going
to
to
use
say, you just go over and then you go, and then you go up there and then you come, and then
Yeah.
come back.
Yep, all that. And then when we get to there, after we do that 4 days in Isle Royale, we're going to go back down to South Haven where her family has a house, and that's where PJ will be. We'll be reunited with PJ, and then my daughters are one's going to drive up, one's going to fly up, and we're going to take them around Michigan, show them around Michigan, how cool it is in the summertime, blah blah blah. And then after that, we've got about 3 or 4 weeks to spend in Michigan or doing whatever we want. Haven't really got that part of the trip planned, but I don't have to be back in Arkansas until the second week of August. And this is the first
So
year,
this, go ahead. I'm
first
sorry. Go
year
ahead.
that I don't have to come back in the middle of July for any kind of training or anything like that. What I've always had to do, and so we're gonna potentially and most likely be gone for a little over 2 months.
Bro.
I know. And it's,
How
June's
are you
not
going to
that
be able
bad
to
in
stand?
Arkansas, but July, I don't have
Yeah.
anything to do in Arkansas in July.
Yeah.
No.
I don't even have to
August
go
is
check
about
the
the same,
mail.
but I have to come back. Uh, so, anyway,
Yep.
he says, amazing. I've got Oregon coast and more of the Pacific Northwest on my list as well. We went on an Alaskan cruise a few years ago, and it was phenomenal. Awesome. Thank you for. We went across the northern states and way back as well. So yeah, that's kind of what we have planned. Um, so pretty excited about that. This kind of all started when my wife needed North Dakota. So we had talked about, okay, what can we do to get North Dakota in? Because it's not really a destination, it's kind of a pass through. So what
Uh-huh.
can we do to pass through? And then when I met Glenn, who wrote the book Take Less, Do More, I had him on the podcast several months ago. Super guy. He's founded Gossamer Gear. He's really a big deal. So this guy is a big deal. And I'll talk about the trip that I just got back from being with him.
Yep.
But anyway, while we were on the podcast, he invited us to his house, which I thought, you don't know me.
Yeah.
You don't know me. I'm a pretty cool guy. I guess he can trust me since he knows I'm a police officer. But he invited us to his house. He says he has people that stay there all the time who are walking on the PCT, Pacific Crest Trail. So he
Okay.
has them in his house, and he's not there very often. They do travel a lot. In fact, he's leaving to go to Spain the Saturday that we're there. But he said we could still stay in his house if he wanted to. So super cool guy. But anyway, invited us to his house, and I was like, okay, there's a starting point for. And I didn't think I was going to have the week of training at the end of. So I thought we were going to have 2 weeks to get up there, and our original plan was to go through California, and then go up the Pacific coast up through California. But we had to cut all that off when my boss said, "Hey, we're training for 5 days." I was like, "Great."
Yeah.
So anyway,
That's
kind of
crazy.
ruined that,
You
but
ain't
at
got it
least
back.
it's
Yeah,
at
you got
least
to
it's
come
not
back.
in the middle. At
I
least
know.
it's not in the middle where I have to come back and then I have to go back. So anyway,
That's
it's
cool. Hey, Sabrina.
I've heard
Off
that
duty
Glacier
overlander.
is pretty amazing. Now I've
Yeah.
also seen pictures where Glacier is very crowded. So we'll see. Um, I'm really something that I would love to do is go to the Grand Tetons, and
hmm
with the epic fail that I had with my Utah trip about 2 weeks ago, we've got some airline miles that we're going to have to use before the end of the year. So that time that we have in July might be a time when we can fly to Wyoming, go to the Tetons, and then fly back, get our car, and then come back. So we may have something else planned there in July. We're going to have to talk about that. We'll see. Uh, hey, Benji.
What's
Good to
up,
see
dude?
you. Benji has something going on this weekend. I think it's a overland swap meet. Is that right?
That's right. That's a swap meet Louie kind of thing going on up at his shop there in
What do you mean,
Crocker,
Louis?
Missouri. I'm just making a joke.
Oh,
Swap meet Louie. It's kind of a
swap meet Louis.
it's
Okay.
a name of a song.
Okay. Well, never heard of that song, but I don't listen to your wife's music like
It's a
you do.
rap song.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yep, he's got a cool um, swap meet going on this weekend up at the shop. Yep.
Yeah. So if you're not doing anything this weekend, go up there, support him. Take whatever real nice things that
Midwest
you want to
Adventure
get rid of.
Outfitters.
I
Yep.
have a ton and wish I could go.
Yeah.
Because I have a lot of stuff I really need to get rid of or swap or do something with. Anyway, yeah. But anyway, so Big Ben was amazing, and
Yep.
and that's my summer plans. Let's see. In February, we had very first time we ever had a. Uh, yeah, he wants my toilet, my
Yeah.
like new toilet.
Like new.
Must add.
Yeah.
Uh, it's
Only
just
used.
as good as the day I bought it. I promise.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
has been used, but still like new. February we had a winter break, and we've taken a couple trips this year that we don't normally take, like we've almost been cityfied because we're experimenting with citification. You know, uh, But we got an Airbnb in Hot Springs and went to the horse races. And I had never been to I grew up in Arkansas my whole life. I've
Yeah.
been here since day one, and I have never been to the horse races. Um,
Yep. I haven't either.
Probably because my dad is a Baptist preacher and he didn't believe in gambling. It's kind of like an old school thing. You don't do the you don't do the lottery and you don't do scratch offs. You don't do horse racing, and so we'd never been. So I just never been, but my wife had never been either. Uh, And so we got an Airbnb and went down there, and PJ stayed at the Airbnb and we went to the horse race. Have you ever been?
No, never been.
It was cool. It was
Yeah.
really cool. I'd never seen anything like it. And so here's the funny thing. So a buddy of mine that I work with at the school, he's huge into horse races, bets all the races, does most of them on his phone. But I mean, he's one of these guys that him and three buddies have a table down there, and they have a table like all year. So they got a table for the whole year. They show up there. This is their table. They sit there and they do the bets. They eat all day, whatever. So I was texting him. I said, "We're at the horse races. I need to know what to do." So he was texting me the whole time. He's like, "Okay, these are the horses I'm betting on in race one. These are the ones in race two. Blah blah blah." So we went and did like $2 bets, and we would go and place our bets, and then we would go outside and we would watch the race. So the first race, we did pretty good. We didn't get a win, but we got a place or something like that. And I don't remember how it works now because it's been so long since we've been there. But the second race, I got all cocky, and I rolled over our winnings and put $5 with it for the second race. And so we go out there, and I'm like, I got my horse. I got my horse. This horse is going to dominate. So we placed our bets. Me and Gia walk outside because you can walk outside and you can get right up next to the racetrack. So you're like, I mean, you could touch the dirt. You're that close. And so they parade all the horses in front of us. And then the starting gate is down here to our left. And we see them, and all the jockeys down there are down there and they're on their horses and they have all these guide horses and all this and all this. And I was like, there's our horse right there. I mean, it went right in front of us. Beautiful, beautiful horse. I mean, it looked like it was lightning. It goes down, goes to the other side of the gate, and starts to come back. That sucker goes nuts, bucks the jockey off, and takes off around the other side of of the track without anybody on it. So they have to stop everything, send all these guys over there to get this horse, and then we got a notification: this horse has been disqualified from the race. I'm like, you gotta be freaking kidding me! Did you see how fast that thing was? So anyway, didn't do
So the
anything with
answer
that race.
to Benji's question,
Went downhill after that. Sucked. Yeah.
no,
No,
you
we
did
didn't. We came out. We came out about maybe at $2 to the good. We bet on like 5 races, and then we had been there about half the day, and we had to go back and let PJ out. So we just decided to leave. But it was fun. It was really fun. We had a good time. Saw some, famous people down there that were wandering around, and it was a beautiful day. But I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I would love to go back.
Yeah,
It was fun. But
yeah. It's on that area down there is on my list of places to explore some more.
it's cool.
The
And it's right here
races.
in our backyard. Right
I'd
here in
love
our
to go
backyard.
do the diamond mine someday. Never been there, so
I've never been to the diamond mine, and my wife would tell you not to go.
really,
She prefers the crystal mines because down there in the same area they have crystal mines. And I have went with her to the crystal mines. I didn't think that I would enjoy it. But I sat there and was reading a book in the shade, me and PJ, while my wife was over there. And then she found a crystal, came back and brought it to me, showed it to me. And I'm like, that's freaking cool. So I got me some stuff out and started digging for crystals too.
yeah,
And the thing about diamonds is the diamond mine is you rarely ever find one. It's a big deal if somebody ever finds one.
yeah,
Everybody finds crystals. So you take a 5-gallon bucket. We came back with a 5-gallon bucket full of crystals. You come home, you wash them, you clean them up, and then you've got crystals, and they're cool.
yeah. And it's not crystal meth; it's like crystal
No,
quartz,
you don't
like
grind it
quartz.
up and
Yeah.
snort it
Oh,
and
okay.
all that
Okay.
good stuff. And
Okay.
it's actual
It's like cool.
crystals. Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, like you make tiaras out of and stuff. I guess.
Tiaras.
Yeah. Anyway, so Did
That's
you? We had a lot of, but when we were down there in for the winter break in February, we had to come back early because that was when the big ice storm was coming.
mm-hmm.
We had that big ice storm that everybody said, "Oh, you better get where you're going because you're going to be stuck wherever you are." And sure, oh yeah, bring me one. I'll show it. Yeah. So this is a crystal. You see that? See how it's
Yeah.
got a pointy end and how it's shaped?
Uh-huh.
That's exactly how you dig it up. So
Huh.
I was like, when she dug that up, I said, "Okay, somebody planted that there." And I was like, she's like, "No, this is how they do. This is how they form. They form with the straight edges, and it's got all the way around. So it's kind of like one, two, three, four, like six sides, and then it's got the pointy end that looks like it's been sharpened in a pencil sharpener, and that's how they come out." And I thought, "You just dug that out of the ground. That's how you find them." And she said,
Yeah.
"Yeah." I was like, "Oh, that's cool.
Wow.
Yeah, so cool." So anyway,
You know,
we
I
wanted to
saw
compare
it.
it.
I saw a reel the other day where at the diamond mine they just plowed it for the first time this year.
Really?
Yeah, because it'd been so wet for so long. But I guess they do a deep plow, and sort of
Mm-hmm.
bring everything to the surface. And I'm thinking, man, if a person knew when they were going to do their plow,
Yeah.
that would be the day after would be the time to go.
Hmm. Yeah. Science. That's the way it is.
Anyway,
Yeah, and really and truly, if you ever want to do that, if it's ever going to be raining, you want to go when it's raining because that's when you find the most stuff. Because the rain washes the dirt away, and you find the most stuff. You'll find the most diamonds. You find the most
crystals.
crystals. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's cool.
makes sense.
And then they have like I don't remember what this. It's kind of like a a special place that you can go to dig for crystals, and they're like dark crystals. They're like black when you dig them out, and
Hmm.
those blow your mind. Pretty cool.
Wow,
Yeah, I know.
science.
Science. Hmm. But anyway, we had to come back early because of, and sure enough, I mean, we got a good hard
Ice storm,
ice
snow.
storm.
Yeah,
It was awful, but it was nice being home for a few days.
yeah, and it
Uh,
brought in some sort of dead gum virus thing that I had for 6 weeks.
you did get sick for a long time.
Good grief!
You had a cough that I didn't think you was ever going to get rid of.
I didn't either. I thought I was a smoker. Couldn't quit smoking.
Huh.
You talk about smoker's cough.
I do talk about smokers cough
Yeah, yeah. So
all the time.
yeah, that was kind of a bummer. I missed out on a lot.
You did.
So
You did. And well, while you were sick,
yeah,
in March, we met a guy whose name Tim Mason, second author that I met. He wrote "Losing Sight, Gaining Vision," and we were just out walking on the Washita Trail one day, and these two guys passed us, and there was so much ice on the trail that we had to turn around and come back, and they passed us and we're going back to their truck. And when we went back, he was just sitting on the tailgate having him a cold beer and talking to his buddy, and struck up a conversation with them. And he had just written this book about walking the Colorado Trail. Well, back when he was a teenager, he was doing something. Interviewed him last week. You can listen to the podcast. But he lost an eye. Something flew in his eye, and he lost his. I think it's his right eye. And so he's
wow,
he's only had one eye. And some of these trails that we do are very technical. And so anyway, he wrote a book on walking the Colorado Trail, which is really technical. It's 300 miles long. And so he took 6 weeks to go out there and do that. And so I thought that was pretty amazing. So he
yeah,
really super nice guy. And he ended up going 2 weeks later and doing the Eagle Rock Loop with us. My wife and I, and Luke from Ultralight Sax, and Tim that I just met, the author. We did Eagle Rock Loop. This is our second um year to do that. And if you go out and walk, I would put that up against anywhere in Arkansas as far as how beautiful it is. You you follow creeks, rivers, go over mountains, have views, waterfalls. It's just absolutely insanely beautiful. Now, it's not an easy walk. It's the longest loop in Arkansas. It's 26 miles. So we took 3 days to do it. I have a goal now to do it in one day. Um,
Ooh,
so yeah, I want to do
ooh.
that one day. Yeah, I think it'd be fun. Well, that's like
Uh,
top two fun. It's like
uh,
top two fun, right?
no, tell me.
Top two fun is like painful fun, like fun that's not fun. It's like camping in a thunderstorm. You're camping and you love it, but you have the thunderstorm, so it's like top two fun. So that's what we call top two fun.
See, I
So
like I
it's
like
fun
camping
with
in
suffering.
thunderstorm. I sleep. Thunderstorms are like anesthesia to me.
Well, to a certain point, when your phone goes off with a tornado warning, you're like, oh crap,
Kind of
I
hard to
really
sleep
shouldn't be
under
here
those
right now.
situations. Yeah.
Yeah. Think about Rendezvous 3 or 4 years ago. Yeah. I did not enjoy that when my awning got blowed off my FJ with me sitting in it when my tent fell.
Yeah, and
Fortunately, I wasn't in
you
it.
were in there like this trying to hold the roof up.
I abandoned ship, dude. I got out of there. I was sitting in the driver's seat. Tent fell, awning blew off. I was like, "Boy, I'm
I'm
glad
out.
I'm in here right now."
I'm
Whew.
out.
I didn't want to be up there. Dude, no way. But anyway, the also in March we did Jasper Jeep Jam, and that was one of the first times I'd been out camping. This year got the FJ out,
Hmm.
so that was I enjoyed that. Now the first night again, storms.
Yeah,
Uh, we spent most of the first evening that I was there in a
metal
metal
building.
building,
Yeah.
which was probably not any safer than my rooftop tent. Um, but anyway, that's where we went, and we made it,
Yep.
obviously.
Yep.
But that was fun. We got to see a lot of people, and I hadn't got seen in a while, and it was a great event. Uh, Kai and Lisa put on a great event, had a good
Yep.
time,
Yep.
and you stayed up there several days.
Yeah. I actually went up Tuesday.
You had to go get Kai from the airport.
Yeah, I picked up Kai at the airport and hauled him home, and then I don't know. We hung some banners there at the rodeo grounds and did some
Hmm.
stuff, and then I camped in their yard Tuesday night, and then Wednesday went back up to get all set up.
So you camped in their yard.
Tuesday night, yeah.
So you've camped in that yard twice, but with two different owners of the house.
Hmm. Yep.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever done that.
Yeah.
That's got to be something.
I mean, I got to camp right next to that. I could unzip my window, look out my window at that Jeep they gave away.
Yeah.
Jared Cook in the house.
Jared Cook's in the house, and I want to show something. We've got some new merch out there available at Shop Overland Apparel. So we've got the Overland Podcast tees, hoodies, whatever you want. You can go out there and pretty much give the finger to all the other podcasts, and that's
Yeah,
what we
pretty
want to do.
much.
So, well, thank you
They
for all
even
your
got a
support,
sticker up
and thank
there
you,
too.
Jared. Jared got to celebrate Mother's Day on Sunday with his beautiful wife, and
Yeah.
I bet that was very special.
Yep.
So, congratulations to her, Jared. Thank you for joining on here. Of course, I have the shirt on. Tony's
Yeah.
slacking. Tony's
No,
slacking,
but
but I got.
mine's dirty. I wear it all the time.
Well, aren't you
And
just?
I and it was actually the one I wore the last time, the last podcast I was on. So
Yeah,
I didn't want to have a thumbnail with two in a row with, you know.
yeah.
So I am wearing a, you know,
Oh yeah,
Shop Overland
that's
apparel.
another one of his. Another one
Yeah.
of his.
Yeah.
That's good. Well, thank you, Jared. Appreciate you coming on. So Jasper Jeep Jam was fun.
Yep.
I had a good time. That guy who played all the instruments at the same time, he was awesome to watch.
Mm-hmm. Gosh, Doug,
Um,
I wish I could remember his name. If Kai is listening, Kai will remember.
Shelly Beth fried pies. I bet I had 50 of those. My wife helped
Y'all don't
her.
need to eat no fried pies from Shelly Beth. They're awful.
My goodness,
Hey,
they
and
were.
the Trailside Coffee, that lady, um, she makes the best burritos. Mm.
Those burritos were good.
Big Papa Beans. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
Big
him.
Papa Ben's.
Big Papa Beans. That's right. Kai.
Well, Kyle, that was just a test to make sure you were listening. So, um, shortly after that, my wife and I went on. We did another one of the cityfied things. We've done a lot of overlanded stuff here lately and backpacking stuff, but my wife loves to snorkel.
Yeah.
She loves to snorkel, and I hate the beach. So I had to figure something out. What are we going to do? I don't want to spend 7 days trying to dig sand down in my butt crack. So what are we going to do to kind of,
Find a happy
put these
medium.
two? Yeah, find a happy medium.
Yeah.
And so for Christmas, I gave my wife a cruise, spring break cruise. We drove to New Orleans, had some of the best oysters I've ever had in my life. Humongous oysters. I mean, when you put them on a cracker, dude,
Cracker, put it on
they
cracker.
were they were hanging off all the sides of the cracker. In fact, I offered my wife one, and she said those are too big.
What?
Yeah, she said
Bro.
those are too big. They were outrageous good. We went down into, uh, you know, what do you call it? French Quarter. Went down in the French Quarter, had a good time, great time, and just loved it. But the cruise was amazing. We got to go to Honduras. We got to go to Belize. We got to go to Cozumel. We took some cooking classes, and it was fun, really fun. And she got to snorkel, and she saw the biggest manta ray she'd ever seen. Um, so this is what she said: I would have had to chew, and I don't chew oysters. So isn't that
Yeah,
funny?
that's funny.
Now they did have the most potent. What's that stuff you put on there? It's like hot, spicy
Oh, horseradish.
horseradish. Ooh,
Yeah.
blew my eyeballs out.
Oh, I'm telling you.
Whoa! And the lady told me, she said, "Now that horseradish is strong." I was like, "I'm good. I'm good." I wasn't good.
No, you weren't good.
No, you talk about doing meth. Meth? Yeah, that's what meth
Yeah.
felt like. I guarantee you. Yeah, all caps.
They
They
were
were huge.
huge.
Mm-hmm.
Miss Gia, you spelled huge wrong. It's Y-U.
Huge,
Huge.
huge.
Anyway.
They were amazing. So probably the best I've ever had. Oh, look, your wife is listening. I
Oh,
believe that is one word, but we'll take that. But anyway, they were great. The cruise was great. I got these little patches that go behind your ear for nausea and stuff. Miracle drugs.
yeah.
I went today and got some more. I may just wear them for fun
Yeah.
because they were miracle drugs. I didn't get queasy one time. I slept a lot and slept really well.
Yeah.
Um, but I don't know, Tony. East Coast oysters, I mean, they're like this big. And when we were up in Maine, they don't know how to eat them. I asked for crackers and they give me like oyster crackers. No, they don't know how to eat them.
No.
And they
No, no.
serve them with the stuff you eat shrimp with. It's not the same. Not the same. I asked
Oh,
for
no, no,
horseradish. They
no,
didn't even have it.
no. You do that too. So you need the square saltine. You need
Yeah,
the East Coast oysters, just like Tony says. And you need horseradish sauce and you need cocktail
hot sauce.
sauce.
Hot sauce.
No, cocktail sauce.
Well, you got to
And
have hot
horseradish.
sauce on there too.
Okay, but
I'm
well,
telling
I
you.
love some scallops too.
I love scallops. My wife is a scallop girl. She likes the
Yeah.
scallops.
Yeah.
But anyway, it was great. I'm a cruise guy now. Uh, I thought it was great. The food was excellent. I had a great time. We sat on our balcony, read books. I looked at the ocean. I only had to get on sand once, and that was perfect. Absolutely perfect.
Only had to get on there once.
I only had to dig it out of my toes. Didn't have to get down my crack. So that was good.
Yeah. So speaking of sand, Caleb Baker is putting together a trip down to Padre Island next month.
What do
Yeah.
you think about camping on the beach, Tony?
I freaking hate it.
Yeah,
I hate it.
I've done it too,
I'm
and it was
telling you,
not a
it was not a good
pleasant
experience.
experience.
Now I
Mm-mm.
know there's people that go and they have a good time, and if the weather's right, it's probably okay. But I'm
Eh,
probably not ever gonna try it again.
the tide,
It was not good.
the wind, the sand. Oh my goodness. And if you better get some sand stakes, I'm telling you, ones that you drill in the ground, or
Yeah, yeah.
everything's going to be broken. Everything's
Or
going to be covered in sand, even your food. But you've got to get the things you drill in the ground, otherwise
yeah.
it's going to be broken.
Well, the one what we used are real wide and curved, so they're wide, flat,
Mm-hmm.
real wide, and thin. So
Hmm.
they work really good. But
Well, I don't have the ones that you hook to like a drill, but I've got. I can't remember. I think they're called orange something, but they actually look like a screw, and you actually screw them in the ground. And none of them came up. I was really excited about that. None of them came up. But man, the wind! Holy cow!
Yeah.
And I woke up one night, and the water was to the front wheels of my FJ, and
Yeah.
I was backed up all the way against the berm. And I was like, "Nope, I'm done. I'm out. Get me
Yeah,
out."
we that wasn't an issue for us. It was the wind. It just didn't
Wind.
stop. It was coming in off the Gulf. Everything stayed wet, and then the sand would blow on it, and sand
Hmm.
stuck to everything.
Yeah.
Anything that I had touched up paint,
Hmm.
it ate the paint off.
Ate the
I mean,
paint off.
just smooth off. And I figured out actually this last week why it is that I don't like the beach, or why I prefer the mountains.
Why is that?
It's because of my last name.
Chris?
My Chris is trying to remember how it's worded, but it's derived from a group of people in France. It's a sort of a kind of a spin-off of the word crest, Creste.
Look at that.
Yeah. And so it's from people of the mountains, basically. So
Oh, it's in your genes.
it's in my genes. It's
It
in
is.
me. It's
You're a
ingrained
mountain
in me
people.
to be in the mountains.
You're a
That's
mountain
why
people.
the mountains call me a
Hmm.
lot.
Um,
The beach does not call me. I'm sorry, hon.
Now I know you. I know you haven't been able to get away a lot this
Yeah.
year, but you have. You've been really busy for the past couple weeks, tearing your vehicle apart and putting it back together. Uh,
Yes.
so
Yes.
you've done some major. I don't. Would you call it upgrades? Would you call it
Yes,
upgrades?
it's a huge upgrade. I have stressed and fretted and overanalyzed this whole issue with a half rack versus a full rack for so long.
We're not talking about ladies. We're talking about Jeeps, right?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
full like truck bed rack. Yeah,
Truck bed racks, right?
and one of my issues was I wanted to park inside,
That has been an issue.
and I've gone round and round and looked at different things, and I ended up talking to a buddy of mine, TJ, over in Oklahoma, and we were talking, and he's like, I've got a rack that I want to get rid of. So he's thinking about going to a half rack from a full rack,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm thinking
Mm-hmm.
about going to a full rack from a half rack. So TJ was like, "Hey, why don't we
What do
just
you think?
swap?"
What do you
Well,
think?
so we did. We swapped it. We met over in Tahlequah in Harbor Freight's parking lot, and we swapped it right there in their parking lot.
That's a great place to do swaps too, in case you need a
Yep.
tool.
In case you need a tool. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, we swapped it, and I've been, my wife has had a lot going on with her Bats Off Road and Lady Overlander Radio. They've had trips, and
Mm-hmm.
she's been down to Florida and stuff. They've had a lot going on, more expo, and so that it actually, gave me the opportunity to sort of complete that
Mm-hmm.
switch, and I've been working on that, getting things mounted, and had to make some custom mounts for the iCamper tent on there, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, got the Rotopacks mounted and all the
Mm-hmm.
Max tracks and all that kind of stuff. So
A lot of times we're forced to stay at home because of weather, and then the weather's bad and we can't do anything. But when you're forced to stay home because of other reasons, and the weather's nice, and the weather's been super nice,
yeah,
and so you actually were able to get outside a lot, and because you were at home, you had some free time on your hands, and that made it nice where you could get out there and actually get some stuff done.
yeah, yeah, I did. I went through the flower beds and remulched everything, and
Hmm.
you know if you're gonna be stuck at home, you might as well be
Home improvement.
home improvements.
Yeah.
And then something else I'm really excited about uh, has to do with
Yeah.
that stuff.
You have really invested a lot of time and passed your commercial.
Passed my commercial license, waiting on the actual one. This is just like a temporary printout,
Mm-hmm.
that you get, but
Mm-hmm.
waiting on that to come at some point. I don't know.
Yeah.
I hear it takes like 6 to 8 weeks to get it.
If it's federal government stuff, I'm sure.
I have no doubt. But
Mm-hmm.
This
If
one's
they haven't fired all the people who do
good. Right. So yeah, passed my 107 exam. Um, so yeah, and I actually
That's cool.
have a something exciting tomorrow. It's kind of off topic, but I'm looking forward to
Yeah.
seeing where that goes. Got an
Commercial
interview.
license for drone pilot. So
Yeah,
he's commercial drone pilot is what we're
yeah,
talking about there,
yeah,
buddy. Um, so that's pretty cool. And I remember you sending me screenshots of what you were having to study, and it did not look fun. So whatever you were having to study for that, you know, congrats to you for going back to school and using your mind uh, in different ways to get that
yeah.
done. So
It's crazy. I mean, you
yeah.
never know the questions. There's 60 out of I think 700 or 800 possible questions that you have to answer, and it's just a
Mm-hmm.
random draw. And some of the things that I studied really hard for, I had very few questions on.
You just never
I didn't
know.
have one question on. No, yeah, I guess I had a couple of questions on latitude and longitude, but
Yeah. You just
anyway,
never know. You
you
never
never know.
know.
You never know. So
Well, so 2 weeks ago, I got to go on a invitation only trip
yeah.
to a place that I'd never been. It's been probably 20 years since I've been to Utah. I've, um, you know, I got an invite over Christmas. Asked my wife. She said go because this may be the only chance you get to go. So I got invited by Glenn Van Pesky for Gossamer Gear. He's got, if you read his book, he's got this thing called the list. So it's like less than 100 people he's met throughout his career that he invites to go on this trip, and he only takes 10 people or less on this trip. So as soon as I got the email, I asked you if I could go. I asked if I could get off work, and I emailed him. And I think I was probably in the top one or two to reply because I was quick. I was like, oh man, are you kidding me? So anyway, we went to this place. I'd never heard of it before until he mentioned it, but it's called Buckskin Gulch. It is, and if you look at my Instagram on Professor Adventures, I've been posting about it pretty much every day. But it is the longest gulch in the United States, which it starts out as a riverbed, and it's carved out from the wind, from floods, and from just creeks flowing down through there. So it's just carved out, and in places, it's probably I'm guessing 400 foot tall. I mean, it's 40 stories at least, maybe even taller in some places. We passed one coyote that had fell off the top and was dead on the bottom. Um,
Oh wow.
but there was no other animals down in there because it was just one solid canyon. We started out at the mouth of it, which was just a creek bed. And the further we went, it got close on either side. You could touch it on either side. Your shoulders were touching it. There was trees that had been washed out with the floods that were probably 30 feet high, and there was rock falls that we had to go up and over. And so some of it was kind of technical, but just absolutely insanely beautiful. And I asked Glenn, I said, why this hike? Why this hike out of all the ones in the United States that you could take people on, invite people to go on? And he made a lot of sense when he said that, because he said it's logistically hard for one person to do or for two people to do, because most of the time even if you have two people or three people, you got one car, but you had to stage a car at the end, you had to stage a car at the beginning, you had to hike from one to the other, and then you had to go back and get the beginning. So logistically it was hard to get to the end. It's way out of the way from anywhere. And the trip almost didn't happen for me. I had everything booked for on American Airlines. I was supposed to fly out at 5 o'clock on a Thursday afternoon, get there on Thursday night. They were supposed to pick me up on Friday morning, and then we were going to do the hike on Friday. Well, at noon, I pulled out of my school. Didn't even get pulled out. My dad was going to come pick me up, take me to the airport, and I got a alert on my phone saying that my flight had been canceled. So I circled back around and had to cancel everything and reschedule everything. I was supposed to fly into St. George, Utah. Had to reschedule everything to go through Las Vegas. I'd never been to Las Vegas. My first
Vegas,
trip
baby.
there. The guys that were staying in Las Vegas that had flown into Las Vegas said, "Hey, we got a room here. You can just bunk with us. We've got a rental car. You can just ride with us." And they were super nice. But the funny thing, the interesting thing about this trip is the only common denominator between everybody is Glenn. So nobody knows anybody. So I didn't know these guys, but they were like, "Hey, you could stay with us," and I was like, "That's cool, nice of them to offer that." And so they arranged for me to get a ride from the airport, and had me a room key made. I got there at 12:30 their time. It was 2:30 a.m. my time. It was very late. They stayed up and got me a rollaway bed. And Tim Fox was his name. He's from Maine. He's an ER doctor. Super super awesome guy. And it was kind of funny because he said, that bed really doesn't look comfortable. He said, "I've got a humongous bed. I'll scoot over if you want to climb in here with me." And I was like, "Only in Vegas. Only in Vegas." Hadn't even met the guy yet, and he's already asking me to crawl in bed with him. So I was like, only in Vegas. That happens only in Vegas. And we laughed about that all week because he was half asleep, felt bad that I was having to sleep on the rollaway. But I'm telling you, I was exhausted from all the plane rides. I went to sleep like that. We had to get up early the next day. He went and got the car. We had a 3 hour drive to get to Utah from Nevada, and got there. And it was just a super incredible trip. Got to meet some amazing people. They were there from Oregon, from California, from Texas. I was from Arkansas, two from Maine. There was 9 of us all together, and they have been just some of the nicest people. And I told them on the last night we shared everything after we had walked over 40 miles together, spent 4 days, 3 nights together. They said, Glenn said, "I just want you to share." Yeah, Casey said, "Big spoon or little spoon." Yeah, that was funny. So Glenn said, "I want you to share about something about who you are and what you're thankful for about this trip and stuff." And I told him a lot of times, and on this trip when everybody asks, "What's your name? What do you do?" That's pretty much the first conversation starter. And a lot of times I hate answering that question because most people will judge me because of what I do, because of my career choice. And, I see it as a positive. I see it as something I can make a difference. But most people judge it because of the interaction that they've had with some officer somewhere, the last one that gave them a ticket or the one that arrested them or whatever. So they judge you according to their experience with that person. And that's what I told them. I said, I was really hesitant to tell you what I did because I wanted you to see me for who I am and see that there are still decent people out there who are trying to make a difference. And we just had a great talk. And since that time, they've reached out to me and they say, I never really thought about that. I never thought about judging somebody according to what they do instead of actually who they are. And, and so that really made me smile a little bit
Yeah.
because, just because the interactions that I have, some comments that I make on social media or something, people say, well, you know, uh, even back, going back 4 years ago, some of the things that happened when George Floyd was killed and
Yeah.
things like that, people still harbor that
Yeah.
with all the riots and stuff that happened. And I had to work those. And so a lot of people still, when they hear police officer, that's exactly what they think. They
Mhm.
killed this guy. You're a racist,
Yeah.
or just different things like that. And
Yeah.
so I have to prove I'm not that every single day. Every time I put the uniform on, I have to prove that that's not me. And so that was one of the big things that came out of that trip. It was and I would highly recommend you can actually go into this place for a day. You will have to walk through water. My feet were wet for 4 days. Um, and I had no idea that we would be walking through that much water. I bet I crossed creeks and rivers at least 150 times. I mean, it was just
Wow.
one river crossing after another after another. So that was one thing I took away from it. I would highly recommend people go down there and see it because it is incredible. It's not something that you're going to see driving in your overland vehicle. You're going to have to get out and walk. Now it's flat. There are no hills to climb. There are no mountains to climb. There is no grade or elevation change or anything like that. That was why we were able to walk 40 miles because it was just super flat. But I would highly recommend look it up, see where it's at, see where the mouth of it is. Go look at it because the pictures don't do it justice. It is
Dude,
absolutely incredible, and you won't be able to see it from seat of a vehicle.
some of
It's
the
amazing.
pictures that you took I don't know. I don't know how they don't do it justice because some of those are
They
amazing.
don't.
The color in the pictures is amazing.
It's
That
unbelievable. And
orangey red.
well, when the sun, so we
Yeah,
were only in the sun maybe for 2 hours a day. And so when the sun started hitting that red rock, it would just glow. It was almost like the sun in your eyes. It was
yeah,
just absolutely. But if you've watched, so the one who started, years and years ago when Lifestyle Overland started putting videos out on YouTube, they were one of the first ones that everybody started watching. Well, one of his very first series he did in Grand Staircase Escalante.
yeah.
That's where this is. So we saw tons of overland vehicles. In fact, going to the um, the trailhead, we were passed by a tricked out Jeep, a tricked out Toyota. Just hauling butt down this dirt road trying to get to where they went. So it is an overlanding area, but I would highly recommend parking, getting out, and walking a couple miles just to see this because you will not see anything like this from a sea vehicle. It is insane, beautiful.
Wow.
So that was a super highlight. And came back from that, and my daughter graduated from college, and here we are planning for the summer. So it has been a great spring. Um, I know you're about to get out and start doing some stuff now that it's getting hot. Oof, goodness gracious.
Yeah,
Um, but
yeah. I've got a couple of weeks, and then Arla's got another trip. But yeah, I'm going to try to get out this weekend and next weekend, and see if I can't enjoy some of that effort on the rack.
yeah, you need to
And
get out there and test it out and
yeah,
see if it's. You think it's going to be top heavy at all? You going to notice any of it?
yeah. I mean, I'll notice it a little bit. I mean, I can tell just where I live when you pull out either way, you've got some sweeping 90
Right.
degree corners, and I can tell a little bit.
Well,
You know,
you've got it's
elevate a
how
little bit.
much taller is it? 12 inches at least.
Yeah, it's 12 inches taller, probably
You got a
10,
lot
10
more
to
room
10 to 12
underneath the
inches.
bottom of the rack in
Oh
your
yeah,
bed area.
yeah,
So that's going to be pretty cool to see.
yeah. I mean,
I'll
I've
be
got
there.
things mounted now that I could never mount. I
Yeah.
couldn't. I couldn't mount Max Tracks or Rotopacks
Hmm.
because they themselves were taller than the rack height was.
Right.
So
Mm.
yeah,
Well, I guess that's one thing about buying your daughter a car. She's gonna go in the garage and boot you out, so you can change things up a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Oh man. Well,
Embrace
that's
the
cool.
embrace the change, and
Embrace
it's
the
a good one.
change. Hey,
It's a good one.
it is a good one. Well, it's been good sitting down and visiting with you. I know you didn't have a lot of stories to share about where you've been, what you've been doing, but I know when we get back together this summer, this fall, you're gonna have a lot more to share because
Yeah,
I have a feeling that it's coming.
yeah,
It's coming. And I'll have a lot to share too. And we've got one more podcast that we've got scheduled next week. Another author, a book that I read, who rode his bicycle across the United States. It's absolutely insane. He just decided to start riding his bicycle and never came back. So he's going to be on next week. But after that, we don't have any more scheduled. So we're going to get hopefully together while I'm out on the road and do some on location type stuff this summer. A lot of the summers we've taken off. In fact, most of the summers we've taken off and then get back together in August when we go back to work. But this summer, I'd like to do a little bit more, just staying in touch with everybody and talking about where we're at, what we're doing, because we're going to be in some beautiful, beautiful places, and I
yeah,
cannot wait to go. And
yeah.
I'll get to ask you how hot it is back home.
Yeah, we're gonna need to live vicariously through you because it's fixing to be hotter than Satan's armpit again, and so
I know,
I'm
I
gonna try
know.
to. I think I'm gonna the times that you can't come on. I think I'm gonna try to get Kai or Benji on here.
That'd be
Maybe
good.
one of the guys from Mothy Off Road.
Yeah,
He's kind of a funny talking guy, so
yeah.
He used to be kind of a TV personality, so we'll
Oh,
see if we
that's
can.
cool. Well, entertainment's what we're all
Yeah,
about.
that's
So
right.
that'll be good.
That's right.
Well, hey, everybody. Thank you for joining us tonight on the Overland Podcast. We are excited that you took a minute out to come on here and comment or just spend a little time with us. This will be on all podcast platforms as soon as I get in the office in the morning. And Tony, thank you so much for being here with me. It's always good
Yeah,
to see
man.
your face, hear your
It's
voice.
good to see you, buddy.
And anyway, hope everybody has a wonderful week. And so he says, I'm going to have to live through you as well. First year in a long time, I'm not going to get to do a summer trip since the twins are coming. Twins are coming. Woo!
Yeah.
Prayers, my brother. Prayers for you.
Yeah.
You're going to need it. You're going to need it. Well, hey, everybody have a wonderful week. Whatever you do, look out for number one.